It is a beautiful day for some DSA, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. My name is Cozy Gamer, and today we are going to make a new start for a new series, my friends, and that is going to be a counter series and understanding the teams within Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Now, we've done a ton of videos on this channel. We've gone over pretty much all of the basics, and we've talked about each team, upcoming content, things like that. But something that I want to start doing at least on a weekly or bi-weekly basis is understanding a team completely and then also how to counter them. Now, you guys loved the kill order guide that I did a while back, but so many different teams have come in since then. And we're in a very diverse meta right now in DSA, but Big Hero 6 by far is what I see most in the comments and just most myself on the battlefield. Now, here's the thing. They're going to be sticking around for quite a while just because of the core mechanics of the teams. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest strengths of Big Hero 6. We're going to talk about the biggest weaknesses within them as well, the biggest threats on the field and how you can counter those threats, all the characters and spells that are best for taking down the Big Hero 6 squad, and then the different interactions and things you can do to give yourself the best chance to win against one of the best teams within DSA. Now, we're going to be going over all the different teams within DSA. We're going to start with Big Hero 6 because, again, I think that's a team that just has people pulling their hair out. So with all that being said, Cozy Club, if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button down below to join the Cozy Club, and let's go ahead and get started with today's video. All right, so we're going to start off talking about the 3 main strengths of Big Hero 6. That's going to be speed, their shields and evades, and then lastly, the charge mechanic that they all synergize and share with one another. Now, starting off with the speed mechanic, there's a lot of different ways to combat this, and you want to make that strength a weakness. And so the first thing to do with that is Cobra Bubbles. Bubbles passive is a great way to counteract all the speed and all the hits being placed on your team, because each and every time a teammate gets hit, he's going to gain turn meter, and then he's going to be able to cleanse or to silence or to use the strong abilities that Cobra Bubbles has. Not only that, he can land Intimidate to shut down the Hero Hamada upgrade, which we'll talk about later, but Cobra Bubbles is a very simple way to shut down not only Go-Go, but the rest of Big Hero 6. Another great character to give you advantage over the speed that is happening in Big Hero 6 is going to be Belle. Now, we talk about Belle a lot, and it's all about her reflection passive. If Go-Go does the defense down AoE that she typically opens up with each and every battle, Belle, if you have Beast, is almost always going to reflect, giving her adjacent allies extra turn meter and giving you the advantage in battle. If you don't have Beast, she can also proc this. Or with the newest update, if you have someone like Maui, Moana is going to get haste, or Pocahontas is going to give haste to start the battle and give some certain allies a quicker start to the battlefield, letting their speed not matter as much. Another great way to handle all the speed that's coming in is a hardy team. Now, if you've got a big, thick, tanky team that can take the hits, the speed isn't going to matter as much. And one of the great examples to this is going to be a Maui-led Oceanics team. Maui allows so much shields to be placed on your allies that all that damage that comes in just pretty much tickles them, and they can handle the damage coming in, allowing them to take all the hits, and then they in turn inflict their damage and their hits, putting a lot more firepower on the enemy, and then really being able to manage the battle from there. So you either want to counteract them with Bubbles, a hardy team, or you can just mirror match them with your own Big Hero 6 and focus on the kill order that we talk about in today's video. Now, the last note on speed in general is that there's not a lot of teams that can keep up with the pure speed, but through different mechanics, they can kind of catch up later in the battle. Kingdom is a great example of this. They're going to fall short definitely on the speed side of things, but between Shan Yu being able to strip TM and also giving turn meter to his own self, and then also obviously Belle's reflection like we just talked about, that's a great way to get Kingdom caught up and then control the battlefield. Now, let's move on to the next strength, and that is going to be shields and evades. Now, I can't tell you guys how annoying all the evades out on the field is, not only for myself, but everyone playing Big Hero 6. It's one of the worst parts about playing them, as it takes so much time to eat through those evades to finally land some damage, and when you finally land damage, you're just hitting shields. So it's very annoying mechanic. So what is best to combat this strength of that team? And that's going to be a couple of things, but obviously the first point that we have to make is going to be Beast. Beast is definitely the best way to take care of all those evades and all the shields on the field. Beast can go ahead and clear all evades on the battlefield on non-kingdom characters, and then also he can absorb shield shields with his beastly rage and just do monster damage against Big Hero 6's evasion skills and shields altogether. Another great character is Sheriff of Nottingham, as he is absolutely going to punish the team for having so many helpful effects, and then also he has an ability that can hit massive, and I mean massive, damage against characters with shields. So overall, another great character to pick. Now, Captain Hook does have an ability that's great against shields, but I don't recommend using him as he doesn't have a lot of health or survivability altogether. And Anger doesn't have synergy with just about anyone, but he can also purge shields. Now, there are two other ways to deal with all the shields and all the evades on a Big Hero 6 team. First of all, get countering characters altogether. If you guys didn't know, when a character counter attacks another character, so like Mr. Incredible or Papa Gantu or the new Sensational 6, they're going to go right through the evades. They're not going to clear the evades out of the field, but they're going to hit through the evades on the field. So that is super helpful for a lot of different reasons. First of all, Sensational 6 can absolutely tear a new one, guys. Donald Duck and Daisy can one-shot Go-Go if the AoE lands right, and altogether they can just chew through those evades without even having to worry about it. If you're running Oceanics, Papa Gantu is a great resource for this as well, and other people like Mr. Incredible can also hit and not only do damage, but land those offense downs on the enemy team. So looking through your roster and looking at what characters can counter, and looking at the end of this video for the characters that I recommend that can counter great, it's going to be a great tool set to beat those Big Hero 6 teams. Now, the last piece on shields and evades is going to be make sure that you have the right spells in place to take down Big Hero 6. Now, obviously, guys, we've talked about it. Claw is absolutely essential. Claw is a very fast charging spell that can get rid of the first layer of evades and then also do additional damage. Wild Imagination is also a great overall spell indeed to throw in there as well. And then lastly, we'll talk about this at the end of the video as well, but Clock Tower and Thunder Mountain Boom are two great spells to use against Big Hero 6. Now, both of those very solid spells. Keep those in mind as we'll touch on them a bit later. But overall, guys, spell management is a great way to eat through those evades and eat through those shields so that your team can actually land damage on the enemy. Barley bombs is a big thing that we've talked about on this channel and is one of the best ways to handle all the evades on the field with Big Hero 6. Guys, charge up your Elsa, throw Maurice or Barley on Elsa, and then do the show yourself, and that is an unavoidable attack that is going to do massive damage. And you guys can see right here, boom, I don't care about the evades. I just pop this big attack right here and absolutely blow through the enemy team. So Barley Bombs is another great way to chew through those shields and those evades just by not worrying about them in the first place. So the last core strength of Big Hero 6 is the charge mechanic. Whether it's Hero Hamada, Go-Go for evade and speed, Baymax to cleanse more, Wasabi to be able to take more damage, they all rely on the charge system. Fred builds up charges to land continuous damage, so charges is a great strength for the Big Hero 6 team, but they've got one major weakness, and it's a little blue alien called Experiment 626. Guys, if you don't know, Stitch is the single most best character to counter Big Hero 6. A lot of the times you can just play Protect the Stitch and he's going to be able to do enough damage all by himself to completely wipe the whole team without any question. Put a lot of tanks around him and he can completely dismantle the team, all by them just using their turns and gaining those charges passively. Characters like Hero and Go-Go especially get absolutely destroyed by Stitch, and in fact, you can have an opening turn with Stitch, build up his single pistols all the way up against Baymax, take down Baymax, and then do continued damage. It's definitely a way to just punish people who use Big Hero 6, and Stitch now is on such a constant rotation, he's pretty much free to play at this point. You just have to invest in the characters to get Stitch, but once you have him, he can absolutely demolish them altogether. If you guys watched my last fireside chat on Twitch, we talked about Stitch being flat, just like one of the best or favorite character of many players within this game, mainly because he is such a strong counter to the charge mechanics that we're seeing so much in the meta at the current moment. Stitch is a character that I definitely recommend throwing that attack stone on him. Take him up to T7, T8, because you're going to be able to use him so reliably against the Big Hero 6 faction and all the teams that you see on the battlefield. Alrighty, so let's talk about the kill order of Big Hero 6, and this is going to go into the biggest threats of Big Hero 6 or BH6, and that is going to be Go-Go, Hero, and Baymax. So those are the biggest threats, and actually, that is the order that you want to take down when you're looking at all the enemies on the field. You want to go after Go-Go first, as she's the glass cannon and the main source of damage for the team. After that, Hero Hamada is definitely a character you want to focus to stop those evades and those upgrades. And Baymax is that third character that you want to slaughter and take down, or at least manage, so that he cannot taunt and give harmful immunity to his entire team. So let's talk about the three biggest threats on the field, starting off with Go-Go. Go-Go is going to be the big AoE glass cannon, dishing out crazy attacks. Between her speed and her offense, she's easily one of the best characters within the game altogether, and very important to take down. Now, you can't quite just counter her speed, as she is one of the fastest characters in the game, but she is susceptible to a few things. So let's talk about what those are and how you can kind of manage Go-Go. So again, we talked about it. Bubbles is a great way to manage Go-Go because it kind of stops everything going on, as well as Bell to give you some more speed turn meter to your own team. But the other great thing to take down Go-Go is AoE attacks. Now, Go-Go is typically hidden behind tanks so that you can't get to her. You typically see her in that middle spot between two tanks like Baymax or Beast or Fred, or free to play if you've got Jasmine, things like that. Go-Go is in the middle spot typically, and you want to make sure that you use AoE attacks to shut Go-Go down. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about the characters that can best do this, but obviously people like Beast are a great way, or Gantu, to lay down continuous AoEs on the battlefield. Or like we talked about earlier, countering characters can completely demolish Go-Go. She's going to hit that big AoE attack, and you're going to have Donald, Daisy, Gantu. They are going to all hit back, and Go-Go just doesn't have the health to be able to stay alive, essentially. And so you can use big countering attack characters like those new Sensational 6 characters to take down Go-Go. If you're not able to attack Go-Go, do your best to try to limit turn meter on her, or get an offense down or slow on her to manage Go-Go before you can finally take her down. Now, Hero Hamada is the next person you want to take down in the Big Hero 6 squad outside of Go-Go, because of all the support that he brings for his team. Now, Hero Hamada is definitely a candidate that I love throwing Intimidate on, and that's a great point. Intimidate is something that you really want to have on the Big Hero 6 squad to shut down a hero upgrading them. So if you get Intimidate on, again, Go-Go, their highest hitting offense character, he cannot upgrade her, giving her attack up and letting her just dish out crazy damage. So people like Bubbles and Fred and Beast are all great characters that can put Intimidate out on the battlefield, shutting down the team altogether. But Hero Hamada is also a great choice. 9 times out of 10, people are going to have Hero right behind Baymax for that initial Beast AoE that you're starting to see a lot more. But the great part about that is you want to kill Baymax immediately if Intimidate is on Hero, because when Baymax dies, he's going to grant Hero 100% TM, and having Intimidate on Hero Hamada is going to be able to allow him not to get that automatic 100% turn meter, and then you can kind of dish around the other teammates. And then last on the kill order and the biggest threat is something that a lot of people deal with, and that is Baymax. Now, Baymax is going to provide an auto taunt for the team to start the battle, and then also he has harmful freaking immunity, AoE for the entire team, and a taunt. So how do you handle Baymax overall? Now, a lot of people say maybe you just go after Baymax first, rip him down, kill him right away. But what I like to do personally is silence Baymax. A silenced Baymax is a useless Baymax. He cannot do anything that his kit provides if he is silenced altogether. You get that silence right out there with Bubbles to start the match. You can even purge that taunt right away, which we're going to talk about in a second about purges. But you get that silence on the field, and Baymax is simply usually the slowest on the battlefield unless he's running a speed stone. And also, he just does not have enough time to get the next turnaround to use his abilities. Now, there are some certain notes to this. If Honey Lemon's on the field and you can take her down quickly, she's pretty squishy, so you can go ahead and just wipe her down completely. Or if Fred is building up charges, it's going to change each battle. But for the most part, this is a good guide of who you want to take down. But Baymax, instead of killing him, just manage Baymax. Again, he's easy to manage if you can land the right debuffs on him, just shutting him down all completely. So what I like to do, and what we've talked about before, is put that charm on Baymax and then focus the crap out of him, take him down, and then he's going to cleanse your team. He's going to heal. It's like everything great that happens for the enemy team will then happen for your team instead, which is why we love charm so much here at the Cozy Club. All right, to wrap this video up, let's talk about important characters and spells to take on the Big Hero 6 faction. So obviously you can mirror battle them, really take on the characters pretty easily if you have the same characters. Just do a better job of being strategic and bam, you're going to get yourself a win. Outside of that though, characters that can purge like Honey Lemon, Cobra Bubbles. Flynn is a new character that can both purge and charm, making him a great counter to Big Hero 6. Jack and Chunk can flip helpful effects, making it easy to get through Baymax. Big Bad Wolf and Barley can strip those taunts, and I love Barley because he can not only get rid of that taunt to open up the battlefield against Baymax, but he can also decrease his magic, allowing him not access to his main abilities, effectively putting a one-turn silence on Baymax there. So Barley is a great choice to run as well. And lastly, Miguel can purge on his basic, making it a good use overall. So purgers, if you're having trouble with that auto taunt at the beginning of the battle, just make sure you've got a character that can purge on your team. The next line of very helpful characters are going to be silencers. Now, silencers are great, and the super silence team is something that we've all seen a ton of, but Bubbles, Davy Jones, Elsa, Ursula, even Oogie Boogie can lay on some very helpful silences that can completely shut down the enemy team and quickly get those silences out. All those characters I just mentioned for the most part are very fast characters under the right team, able to get those silences out. But even if you don't have fast characters like Genie and Mulan can pump out silences pretty easy as well. And obviously the spell Headless Horseman is a great way to get a flanking silence across the team. And the last group of very helpful characters, outside of characters that can land Intimidate, that's its own whole section, is AoE heavy characters. Like we just talked about earlier, this team really lies on keeping Go-Go protected, getting that big damage out, and forcing you to waste all of your big abilities and hits on Baymax. But getting those big AoE characters that can hit multiple times is really going to be advantageous for both you taking down Big Hero 6 and not hitting your head against a wall because of all the evades. So characters like Beast and Bell combos, very helpful. Obviously, we talked about Go-Go being extremely big herself, getting rid of those initial evades and then also landing an extra hit. So use Go-Go against Big Hero 6. Moana is good for her second ability, just slapping paddles all over the battlefield. Merida, absolutely huge to use with Bell and assist calling all together, which brings up a great point. If you have an assist calling team like Cobra Bubbles, he's able to throw a suitcase first, and then Sheriff can do the big belly, take down the characters. People with assists like Sven can also do the same. Big other AoE characters like Dash able to clear those evades and also land a little bit of damage. Gantu, even though he can't do the attack twice, does lay out insane amount of AoE attacks continually, so making him a great choice as well. Minnie Mouse is a great charmer, and she can go back and hit that same enemy twice. So everyone on this list, for the most part, outside of Gantu, is going to clear evades, and then they can also lay on some damage. And then lastly, Mickey freaking Mouse, calling everyone to assist his California Disneyland forever. Absolutely huge attack there. And so AoE heavy is a big counter to Big Hero 6 to take down Go-Go early. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is spells, guys. And there's something I want to talk about with spells overall. But let's go ahead and say Zap, Claw, and Wild Imagination. They can all just lay on the evades and get through those quickly. But what I want to talk about quickly is Clock Tower and Thunder Mountain Boom. Both of these spells are great to use against teams that are very fast and speed heavy because it uses that speed against the team. So let's talk about it quickly. First of all, Clock Tower, if you lay out the initial hit, it's going to clear evades on the field and not stick at all. But if you land Clock Tower in the midnight countdown and then the evades go up, it's going to polymorph the enemy no matter what happens. Now, on the other side of things, Thunder Mountain Boom, you can actually inflict that through the evades on the field. But if evades are on the enemy team, it's not going to stun or hurt the enemy. They're just going to simply step to the side and avoid it. So kind of strategically, you want to place one or the other, and it's a really good thing to learn on when to play each spell. You can even run both of them, and now with the nerf to Fairy Slumber on the way, or the adjustment, we'll have to see what that means. But with that coming, you can definitely start rolling 2 spells and not have an automatic slot for Fairy Slumber. So Cozy Club, if I know that you guys like these videos, leave a like and comment down below that you like this kind of video, and what was your favorite tip that you learned, so I know to make more informative videos like this to help you out, not only in free-to-play, but also pay-to-play players within Conquest in different parts of the game. Altogether, guys, I plan on going through all the different teams, with Sensational 6 being next, both looking at the helpful understanding of the team and then also how to counter this team. Now, we typically do this when new teams come into the game, but glad to go back and revisit some of the meta teams that we've been seeing and ones that have just stuck around a long time within DSA. guys, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys on Twitch on Wednesday, and we've got some more videos coming this week. If you guys don't know already, subscribe to the Cozy Club. It's absolutely free. And until next time, stay cozy.